Angie,
John.
when you scroll through LinkedIn and it's just seems to be coach after coach coaching other coaches on how to coach coaches who want to coach coaches. And yeah, at some point, we've just got to ask who's going to be left to coach.
Exactly. It's like the coaching version of inbreeding. Like, sooner or later, we're all going to end up with 3 eyes and a podcast.
Oh, I love that image. I'm thinking of ding, 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 ding. We're having a bit of, what was that film? Deliverance.
It is so concerning, though. Like, I know we're poking fun, but it's the truth. Like, everywhere you look, everybody and their families want to be a coach to a coach to a coach to a this to a that. And it's everywhere.
Let's discuss it. Welcome to the Coaching Clinic with John and Angie.
The show for professional coaches who want to develop their skills and grow their business.
Follow the show on your favorite podcast app.
And join us every Wednesday for new episodes.
Angie, I noticed this. I was talking to a coaching colleague of mine earlier, and about 10 years ago here in Spain, they discovered coaching. So thereabouts. And it seemed that anyone and everyone was suddenly wanting to be a coach. It didn't last all that long, maybe about 12 months when people realized it wasn't that easy. And in a country where people didn't really know or understand coaching that well, what seemed like a very easy business to set up was not, and they weren't getting clients, and it all kind of faded. But the hunger for people to want to do this was real, and I see it in so many different places, that there's just more and more coaches all the time, and coaches are coaching coaches and coach marketing, all sorts of different areas. But this is maybe a little bit of a sort of state of the industry kind of conversation as well. But what do you notice? What do you see when we talk about this?
Well, I think, I hate to bring this up because as you're talking, I think that COVID shifted the entire dynamic of coaching globally. I really do. I think that coaching was a growing industry, in and of itself. And you have to become, really good at deciding like where to go next and who do I want to be. And the narrative shifted, right? It became instead of like a desire for coaching, I really want to do this, I'm passionate about it. It became I'm going to be my own boss. How can I do that with, no overhead, little XYZ? Like it's not dangerous. And I think that's why, to your point, some people were like, yeah, I want to do this. And then they backed out because they realized it isn't, whether the market is swamped or not, beginning a coaching business is not easy. You might even be lucky. You might even have people and friends and networks of people that you could initially coach. But then you have to be creative and say, well, wait, I filled the pipeline once. I have to keep doing that. They're not going to just come banging on my door going, where's Coach Angie? So do you know the sustainability of a coaching practice, I think, has shifted. And many coaches have decided, hey, let me coach the coaches. Let me teach them what I know. So there's this other branch of coaching, right? That's not for the external masses.
I definitely think it makes sense that there's opportunity there because so many people have come into the coaching industry. I mean, heck, we have a podcast for coaches about coaching. So I guess we're part of the problem. But I certainly felt very early on in my coaching career, when I was sort of thinking about niching and all that kind of thing, I was very aware about the possibility of coaching coaches, and I was resistant to it simply for this sort of Ouroboros of coaching, where ultimately it ends up eating itself and just becomes, like you say, this incestuous industry where everyone's coaches coaching each other. It's like, well, how well can that really work? It seems wrong. I can't necessarily completely put my finger on exactly why that's wrong, but it just feels wrong. And I don't have resistance to working with coaches anymore, but I do not want to be coaching them in the sort of live coaching kind of situation. I don't know how you feel about it, but what do you think?
Well, I think we've become the, next in coaching, right? In the coaching world, it's this next generation, if you will. Let me show you how. Everybody is selling something to somebody. If you go on LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, like I don't care where what YouTube, it's let me show you how, let me show you, let me influence you, like influencers. It has become such a big bubble. The bubble keeps expanding. My question is, to what end? Is it going to burst? Are we going to come back in for a landing and get back to the basics of what coaching is really meant to do? And again, you and I probably sound a little dated in saying this, perhaps. I'm dating myself, but what are we going to? What is going to be the result? I don't think you and I could possibly know that. And I think that the question I would probably want to put back out to our listeners is, are you coaching? We talked about this in the very beginning. Are you truly coaching coaches? Let's differentiate. Or are you consulting? Did you walk away from your XYZ career because you wanted to be your own boss, and now you're taking that and trying to be influential with it? That doesn't make you a coach per se. So I think there's a lot of potential pieces and narratives here.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Words today.
In coaching in its purest form is a little different to consulting, and certainly different in some ways to mentoring. And those are very valuable things. And certainly I think my practice, my business has moved and evolved really much more into consulting and mentoring than coaching. Because I do not really do a lot of pure coaching, like question-based ontological coaching is not, I'm not saying I can't do it. I don't really want to do it. and generally have got some ways where that I do see value from it, but I've done those years of coaching and it's not where I want to go back to. But I do still see, even just this week, people who are going into coaching because they're interested in personal development, I guess, and they see it as an easy option. It's a super low barrier to entry. 1 billion people have various coaching courses, and there's a million others who will supposedly teach you how to get up to 6 or 7 figures with your coaching business, allegedly. And I just like, well, how many coaches actually achieve that? I think it's a very small percentage.
I think that dynamically it's become a little bit plug and play. And that's what I think how it's observed from the outside is that it's plug and play. And I think that a lot of these creators are doing exactly that. They're creating plug and play apps, programs, processes that's diluting the actual coaching industry because somehow we all get lumped into it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like all of a sudden it's like, well, I'm a one-to-one coach. I do what you don't like to do, but I also do workshops, group coaching, you name it. Speaking because my business model has expanded. At my core, I am still a coach, even though there are moments when I consult, right? So if you work for XYZ certain companies, they don't even allow that. They're like, you're a coach. That's what you do all day, every day. I like working for myself because I have the freedom. It's not just I don't like being my own boss. I have to motivate myself. I have to pay the bills. I have to schedule and I have to seek out new business. That's the hard part. Being my own boss is the hard part of what I do. So yes, as naturally my business has scaled, but at the same time, I just feel like this major influx. It's like this tsunami of let me coach you and teach you how to coach and teach you how to build your business. And like, really, did you ever have a coaching business? Because most of the people, you're smiling, most of the people or organizations, companies that are offering, let me show you how to build this, have never been a coach a day in their life. And I think that matters. I'm not saying, by the way, that there are not processes that we can all use that overlap through industry by industry that might work in terms of getting you marketed and getting you out there. But most of the people out there offering and doing this is the differentiator between you and me, right? We're not part of the problem. We're still at our core part of the solution, because we are not sitting here going, who knows, maybe we will create a process at some point. We've talked about it, but
Yeah.
it's still, we are, how many years combined in the industry? Like 50 plus?
Yeah. Over 50 years between us. Yeah.
All over 50 years between us. So we're actually taking it from the experiential space, not the gimmicky space. Quick and we talked about like, oh, if I give you this certification, now you're a coach. I call crap. That's the difference. Honestly,
100%. Yeah.
would you listen to me speak? Would you listen to me teach about how to sell medical supplies if I never sold a medical supply a day?
Probably not. Yeah.
Right. I
Well,
could be
this
great at
is
sales.
ethos.
Doesn't mean I could sell that. Say that again.
Yeah. This is ethos. This is credibility. And I think probably most coaches lack it to a greater degree. But then after that, I probably did when I started off as a coach. I had to build it up over time. Didn't want to really face up to that. Maybe even done a little bit of the old fake it till you make it in the early days. But it was a different time. but look,
listen, experience doesn't happen until you gain it, right? That's the truth.
Yeah.
Everybody starts, even surgeons have their very first solo surgery. And I would like to think that they aren't faking it. However, as they experience external, out of the textbook challenges, they learn how to craft or hone their craft so they become better at it. And I'd like to think of us the same way. That's where I feel like it's not really a fake it till you make it. It's, I have to do my very first session in order to gain experience and compound that.
You don't really want to go to the bikini waxes on trainee day, right? Do you? So, yeah, exactly.
I know people that do that, and they're out of their flipping minds. But yes, but you can pick and choose. You can pick and choose. Somebody might just say, you know what? Tell me a little bit about who you are and what you've done. And my experience is through, well, okay, how many sessions have you done? You're my first.
And it can be okay. Yeah, it depends. It depends on the situation. It can be. But I do know this. I know that there are people who have taken coaching courses or just done online free courses or book courses, programs, and then essentially turned what they've learned from someone else into their own program. I've seen this with marketers as well, taking coach marketing programs from other people and repackaging them, rebranding them as their own programs, sometimes even with using content from other people's programs. Shameless, completely shameless.
Well, that's just legal suicide, if you ask me. Somebody's going to figure you out at some point.
it should be, right? It absolutely should be. But this is kind of, I think, just kind of goes to showing that there's a lot of crap out there. And I think that's the case in the coaching industry in general as well. There's a million people calling themselves coaches, but how many of those coaches are good coaches? It's hard to know. It's really hard to qualify. And as much as the industry has been kind of trying to qualify these things and standardize things, it's never going to be completely the case because the industry is never going to be fully regulated. I can't see it happening anyway.
Well, listen, unless you're ICF or, what is it? The one in the UK, that's the equivalent of ICF.
Oh, well, we have the EMCC here, which is, which is the European equivalent. So, yeah.
Yeah. So I think if you're not even a part of that, because nobody is, like you're saying, nobody's saying, oh, Angie, in order for you to be a coach, you must be, certified in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And I think the reason why it's not it's so subjective is because coaching is so subjective, right? There isn't one, I would say to you, even if I'm delivering a program, when I've worked for companies and I'm delivering their program, even if I'm delivering the same themes, the same topics with 25 different clients each week, those sessions are very individual. They're different. They differ. None of them is the same. So how do you really actually quantify a good coach? How do you really do that? And I think that becomes the question. And sometimes people will look at credentialing and say, wow, this looks really great. Well, not always. I know lots of people that are lifelong education-based coaches, learning as many things as they can from as many people as they can because they feel like it validates them, and they have like
Mhm.
5 clients because they're not running a business, right? They're hobbyists, if you will. And that diminishes and dilutes the reputation of what we're doing. So I think then comes along like, oh, I can't make it out there. Let me try and let me go for that low hanging fruit.
I do think a lot of people say that in personal development and professional development, there's a big trust deficit, and these are some of the reasons why that's the case. Because there's a lot of people who are operating and with not really knowing what they're doing and not really being up to scratch to deliver it, thinking it's kind of an easy option. And there's also a lot of scammers out there who are looking to plug in and drain as much money out of the industry as they possibly can, and they disappear. Usually disappear just as quickly as they arrive as well.
Sure.
But
Absolutely.
that's what out there, and it damages trust in the industry. I don't know that we can really do that much about it, other than try and differentiate ourselves from those things and try and create a deeper level of trust with the people who might want to work with us. And I think there are definitely ways to do that. It takes time, and it does take some effort to do it, but it's completely worth it. Even things like us having this show, we've got like nearly 70 episodes now of this show. That does give us a level of credibility. It's like we clearly haven't just turned up to try and milk the coaching industry for money. We're trying to deliver some value, but also with the things that we talk about over time, you get a sense that we do at least have some idea what we're talking about, and we have insights and experience in the industry that hopefully are proving to be valuable to you as well as our
Yeah.
listeners. So
Yeah.
we're not just sort of out there. Okay, it takes time to build that up as well, but I'd say even a book or a podcast guest appearances and things like that, these are all things that can start to build up some credibility for you, just so you can demonstrate to people that you make sense, that you're competent, that it is someone that they would want to work with, not just someone who's like, give me your money, buy my course, buy my stuff.
It's so interesting because as we're having the conversation, I'm reflecting on how many of my own clients, right, people that I've coached, whether within my own company or other companies that have like, I'm going to be a coach now. And it's so funny because several of them, not all of them, I don't want to exaggerate. Let's just say if there were 10 of them, it's probably more. I'm just going to use the round number. If 10 of them said, I want to do this, more than half, maybe 3 have actually stuck to it, but not even at the like in the way they initially intended. And they kind of, comment to me and say, you made it look so easy. I thought I could do it. That statement in and of itself, and I'm not going to say who said what when, but you know who you are. But the truth is, you made it look so easy. And I thought to myself, but it's anything but easy. It's not easy, right? If you're really delivering value and you're not plug and play gimmicky or quick hit, get in and out, and you're really looking at longevity and building something that's real, it isn't going to be easy. So when they would say that to me, I would kind of chuckle to myself, like, this person quit their job because I made coaching look easy. Like, did I do some kind of disservice? Because we never talked about coaching in our sessions. What do you mean? But do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's the thing I think that kind of throws me. And we talked about this previously for a minute. Like, if people can't make it finding pipeline, building this business, they go to a different tree, different fruit. I don't want
Yeah.
peaches, I want apples. So they go to the apple tree and they start saying, let me come up with something really whatever, my 6-step process to find you the best clients. You're going to earn 6 figures in 18 months. And who doesn't want that? You know, it's
Yeah.
gimmicky.
I look at it this way as well. To become a coach, you are essentially taking a product to market, even though that product is you. That product is you as a coach. That's what you're going to be
Mm-hmm. Sure.
ultimately selling to people. Um, And certainly, I'm not going to criticize anyone for just saying, "Oh, this is just what I want to do, and I'm going to become a coach." I mean, that's pretty much what I did. Of like, "All right, coaching seems amazing. Let's go and do it." And this is like early days of professional coaching, really. Um, but I did sort of follow that path, but there were reasons why I ended up sticking with it. But what I didn't get, and what wish I could tell myself now, or back then it would have progressed me a lot faster, was you can't just take a product to market because you like it or because it's what you want to do. There has to be a want or a need for what you are going to look to offer. And it's okay. Maybe you haven't got that completely figured out yet, but this is something you want to do. But well, if you haven't got that completely figured out, now's the time to decide, well, what is the problem I'm solving? Where is the pain that I can help people with to improve something? Maybe it's in their business, maybe it's in their relationships, maybe it's some other life area.
Yeah.
Maybe it's confidence that they're really lacking. Whatever it is, it has to be something that people are actually going to want help with, that allows you to really focus and say, all right, if you've got this issue and you're the kind of person, we maybe could work together. I can help you with that. But otherwise, what's the value just saying, oh, I'm a coach. Okay, what do you do? I coach people. What do you coach them on? Well, whatever, really, life. It's like, yeah, good luck.
Yeah. So listen, I'm actually sitting here laughing, thinking, could you imagine us on a panel of like our version of Shark Tank? We can call it Coaching Shark Tank. Like, come, pitch your business, pitch your ideas, and we're going to tell you whether we're going to invest in you or we're not. Right. Like, it's just funny because I feel like in that kind of scenario, I don't know why this even popped into my head today, but people are really doing their due diligence. They're putting their best foot forward to present themselves, right? Because they want something, right?
Mm.
How many people that you know that you've experienced or observed that actually go to those lengths to really create a strong foundation for whether you just want to coach people or you want to be a coach trainer, right? I want to train coaches on the fundamentals of coaching. I could come up with a really comprehensive program and absolutely show people how to be better coaches, better business people. But we kind of haven't done that, right? You and I are starting at this level. Like, let's just make it a conversation. Let's see what people really need. Let's build ourselves at square one before we start going out and charging everybody everything because we think we're worth it with 50 years experience. Do you know what I mean? And we could. You and I know, we've talked about it. We could absolutely create a phenomenal, what am I saying here? But a phenomenal coaching program that's comprehensive. It isn't just about coaching, it's best practices, it's business development, marketing, and we could sell that to people. But I think you and I have stayed away from it at this time because we don't want to throw ourselves into that mix. Right. We're just having conversations right now, and we're good with that. But we
I
could.
think, yeah, but I think there's an element as well where we maybe hope that we might get to a stage where people are asking us for that it would then make sense to do it. At the moment, it would be because we want to do it if we did it. But I think maybe the reason we're saying with this, like we want to establish ourselves here, show people that we can help you with your coaching
Mhm.
business and your coaching practice, and then hopefully get the demand for that, saying, hey, why don't you do you have a course? Do you have a program? I think when we get to the point, and which I think we will, where we start getting those sorts of questions from audience members and listeners on a regular basis,
Sure.
then it will make sense to create the product then. Uh, maybe there will be a reason to do it sooner than that, and we'll wait and see. But at the moment, I think that's kind of where I land with it. Maybe where we both are with that.
Yeah.
But
We're
there's
not
nothing
listen, we're not
wrong.
looking to just cash in on it. And again, I'm not saying
Yeah.
that for all of you that are out there doing your thing and you want to do good for you. That to me, that's your thing. Good luck in the future. Good luck with longevity. I don't feel like it's a process that you can rush if you really want to have that strong foundation. You can't begin at the end. You have to be able to look at what the big goal is. If it is just quick hit, oh, I can make $50,000 in 3 months by doing this, have at it. You're not what we do. And I'm not diminishing that if that's your intention, but I think that's the whole point of this. There's so much more of that happening that it, I think, tends to cascade over back to us where people even question our value or what the offering is because of
I-
the, yeah,
yeah, no, I think that you maybe hit something really important there that I think maybe, although it hasn't been like this sort of as clear as I'm going to present it here, that we have at least had this intention of creating this and being of service to the people who are more vocational about coaching than the people who are perhaps more transactional about it. And so I think that has been very much the case. Like, we want to coach the coaches. That makes, it
yeah,
sounds like it's a paradox to what we're
yeah,
saying, but the people who actually want to be in coaching, the people who want to make an impact, want to make a difference, care about coaching, care about the intricacies, the development, all the things. You're our people. If that's you, it's like that's definitely the people we want to
absolutely.
be helping, who we started this for, the people who we feel, you're our tribe, we're your tribe. That's what we're about as well. Not that we don't care about the money and business side, but we definitely do, and want to keep that included in what we do in these episodes. But there's nothing wrong with coaching other coaches. Not really. If that's it, so long as that's who you have chosen to help and not who you're ending up helping because you can't get clients anywhere else, or you're just
Absolutely.
trying to keep a business afloat. It's maybe not ideal. But I certainly have ended up moving to creating a product to help coaches create speaker funnels, and so to end up working with coaches in that sense. But I'm not going to avoid that just because I don't want to work with coaches. I do. I love working with coaches.
Sure.
Most of you are amazing people. Um, so yeah, why not? But if the coaching industry were to disappear, um, who would you be helping?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, and I do. I agree. I want to kind of emphasize what you said, that we're not putting down what it, for those who want to just go out there and create some kind of a program and capitalize on it. Good for you. And this is not, we're not looking to diminish or beat that up, but we do things quite differently. And the concern is, if you've already been in the industry and you take it very seriously, is that, again, you're somehow lumped into, "Oh, another coach, oh, another invite, oh, another this, oh, another brilliant scientist, another, oh, another program that's going to really help me. What's the differentiator?" Right. And that's the challenge, is that we now have to work harder at differentiating ourselves because there's so much to choose from. I went to a new store local to me the other day. It just
Uh-huh.
opened. I'd never been in this particular store, although I know they're nationwide stores. And I have to tell you, the biggest aisles were candy, with the most selection. I mean, I don't mean just big in terms of size. With the most
Mhm.
selection was candy and ice cream and pizza.
Ooh,
I'm like,
fab.
okay. Yeah, no, I'm going to tell you, the entire back of the store, the length of the back of the store was for the ice cream. I don't eat ice cream, you know that. But if I were to eat ice cream, I would be so, I wouldn't even know where to begin. And why does this one, it's all about packaging, right? Because I was like, ooh, look at that one. And I'm like, of course you love that one. Look at the packaging. I have no idea what the substance is on the inside. And I got so overwhelmed. I was like, I couldn't even buy this for anybody. My husband loves ice cream. I can't. I just have to walk away. Let's just get him some vanilla bean and call it done. So, you know what I mean? Like, don't become part of the back aisle of the store with the ice cream. Anyway,
There's a lot of in advantages to being able to coach other coaches. Like, people understand what you're talking about. You don't have to explain necessarily so many things. People, you start talking about values and stuff like that, people get it. But
the
there's
language.
the language is important, and you know where I'm going with this, because I thought it would be funny that there's a lot of coaching language, and a lot of it isn't really understood outside of the coaching industry. So I thought we'd just wrap up our show today with a little bit of fun, and we're going to play a coaching buzzword bingo. So, so Angie,
I
have you
don't even
got
know
your
what this
bingo?
is.
Have you got your bingo card ready, Angie?
I do. I do.
All right. When you get a line, you can shout bingo and you'll win. All right. So see if any of these words, are on your bingo card for your coaching buzzword bingo card. All right.
Okay.
Step into your power.
Okay.
Raise your vibration. Abundance mindset. Inner child work. Holding the space. Manifestation. Are you there yet? Bingo? Not yet? No?
I don't have bingo yet.
Evergreen funnel.
Oh, bingo.
Hey, well done,
win.
Angie. You win. You've got those coaching buzzwords. I hope you're playing along on the screen at home. But that's it. Just shows. Look, when you're speaking with our clients, just know that there are certain words, phrases, and things that we use in our coaching sessions in the coaching world that sometimes we do need to translate or put into layperson speak for our clients as well. Even sometimes with our clients who are coaches. Let's just make sure that people understand what we're saying. But I think that's enough from us today. Hey, look, Angie doesn't even know this yet, but next week we are speaking to a guest, and he's going to be talking to us about having, as coaches, creating our books and having a ghostwriter help us create our books and why that could be a good thing for us. He's an expert in this. We're going to have a fun conversation. So if you're even thinking, oh, I'd like a book, but maybe struggle with finding the time to do it, you're not going to want to miss our next episode. So join us for that.
Very excited to hear that. Looking forward. Do you have a question for the coaching clinic?
Reach out on LinkedIn to connect with Angie and John.
Leave us a voicemail or video message and we will feature you on the show.
You can also leave up to 90-second voicemail for free on www.speakpipe.com/the Coaching Clinic podcast.
We'd love to hear from you.
See you next time.
Bye for now.